everyone, it's Lindsay from My Crafty Plans, and today we are talking about dot pens. So these are so hot right now in the planner and bullet journal communities. I mean, I have been seeing these for a while and I've really wanted them. The main brand of these is the Zig Clean Color dot pens, and as soon as I saw them, I was like, oh my gosh, these are so awesome. I need these. And then I saw the price tag and was like, maybe not. And then I heard about how much they like bleed and goes through paper, and I was just like, oh, I can't do it. So anyway, I waited a while. I kept liking things that they were about, but I just didn't want to pull the trigger on it. And then I happened to see on Amazon one day while I was looking, this was like actually the third time I had searched for this. There is like an Amazon brand, a kind of knockoff version of these pens that are much, much cheaper. So I did pull these out. There's actually a few different options on Amazon. And the way that a lot of these pens work is like they have a brand, but I think Amazon makes them. I'm not 100% sure. And there's usually like a couple different brands, but the pens are like exactly the same. This is a thing with like knockoff Tombow brush pens. So now that's a thing with these as well, these dot pens. But anyway, you get 15 colors and they were, I think I paid $14 for this. Right now they're on like $15.99 for the set of 15 plus 10% off on Amazon when I just looked. And you get 15 color, including some metallics. So a really great selection of colors. By contrast, the Zig pens, this pack of 4 is currently $8.50, and that's on sale, marked down from $13.20 is the list price. I'm not sure how often it's not on sale, but depending on which colors you want and which sets you get, that some of them are, quite a bit pricier than this. I did just grab the 4-pack of these. Yeah, so they have a bunch of different sets, but the 12 color set is $28.99, I was like, forget it. And this the 6th set, bright set, which is like a different set of colors, is on sale for $14. So these are really, really pricey pens, and that is why I hadn't gotten them at first. This is actually the cheapest one that I could find in terms of like per pen, and that's a 4-color set. And again, I paid $8.50 for that. I was not gonna buy this, but when I got these, I was just like, oh my gosh, they are the juiciest thing ever. They are ghosting through every paper that I have, bleeding through. And I was talking to some folks that I know, some planner friends that I know that do use the Zig ones in their planners. And I was just like, can you just see it through the paper? And people have said like different things. It's not as bad. I know everybody has a different tolerance for the amount of ghosting that is acceptable. And I am like if I were going to do another bullet journal for next year, I'd be buying an Archer and Olive. I don't want to see what I wrote on the other side of the page. I'm not doing another bullet journal for next year. I still actually may get an Archer and Olive notebook, but that is a completely separate thing. And I do not have that in my stack of paper over here because I don't have one of those. But anyway, I don't want to see it on the other side. So I was like, well, maybe the Zig ones are a little bit better than these off-brand ones, and maybe that's why I'm having so many problems. So I did go ahead and buy all 4 of these. I have been using them both for a while now, to get a feel for it, and I thought we would just do kind of like a little bit of an epic showdown. So I thought we could just do kind of an epic showdown of a dot marker test for both of these, but also like, are the Zig ones worth the price? Are you better off just getting an off-brand one? And the way that I'm gonna do that is by testing it on every kind of paper that I currently own and could think of. So I have a bunch of different papers here. We can try out both markers. I will swatch all of these so that you can see the colors. Obviously, I only have 4 Zig dot markers, so I don't have a full collection of those colors, but I'm gonna use this kind of test to sort of decide whether I should buy more Zig dot markers or not. But because I do actually like these. The dotting works like exactly the same between them. To be honest, I have been using both of these. It's just, these are so juicy. Honestly, they're both juicy. But anyway, here are the papers that I have. It's kind of like every nice kind of paper that I own. I did not buy any papers for this. This is all stuff that I already had. This is the Tombow River paper, which is just like that. It's super, super thin paper, but it's got like that coating on it. People really like this for fountain pens, I think. I don't know. I used to use this when I was doing like the bullet journaling in the TN. I had these little notebooks that had this paper, and yeah, it's really, really nice paper, and you can find like a lot of stuff. I think like the Hoban Hobonichi Cousin or Techno or both are printed on this paper as well. And it's just really nice writing paper, but it is like super, super thin. And then I have some Erin Condren paper, which is like a really thick, nice, bright white paper. I have paper from a Leuchtturm bullet journal, Rhodia dot grid paper, which is one of my favorite papers, and this is like what I usually use to test pens. I have a large dot pad. I have some plum paper here, which please ignore the little dotted lines here. It's grade school lettered because it's from my daughter's notebook. And then I have some printer papers as well. So this is Hammermill 32-pound weight paper. This is kind of like your basic standard nice insert printer paper, I call it. So it is a 32-pound paper, and you can always find this on Amazon. It's not expensive, and this is what I used to use to print inserts before I upgraded to the Accent Opaque 32-pound paper, which is, it's just like a little bit more textured, a little bit nicer for writing. It's a little bit more expensive and a little bit harder to find, but you can still get this on Amazon. And then I finally have this in my possession. It took forever to ship, but this is Accent Opaque, so same brand, but it's like 40-pound printer paper. I will link all of this stuff below so that you can check it out if you want to. It's so thick, it's almost like cardstock, and it's just really, yeah, I just printed a test set of inserts on this, and I'm thinking about switching to this for my inserts, but it is really thick, so I'm worried just about the bulkiness, but it is just, feels really nice. They have the same texture. This one is just a bit thicker, so I thought that that would help. So we can dot them all up and see what's gonna happen. I will show the flip sides. I've already done, I didn't wanna like waste paper, so some of these you can kind of already see that they have. So I have 4 colors of this, so I'm gonna pick similar colors. So what I thought I would do is I'll do the pink and then also the yellow because that's lighter, and then I'll match that with the pink and the yellow here. So I actually have 2 yellows, but I feel like that one's closer. And I have 2 pinks and that one's closer. Honestly, color-wise, samey over here. So yeah, you definitely, I don't think, unless like this is drastically different, which I know it's not, spoiler alert, I don't think you need both of these sets. But I just got so curious, I had to know. So let's go. We're gonna dot up all of these papers. They also both do have like the fine liner ends as well. And I will write with that, but that's not why we're here, right? Well, I'll just do a little quick test of it. We're really here for the dotting. So anyway, let's do some dots, pink and yellow, and then we will take a look at the paper. Really quick while I'm doing that, I just want to say you can absolutely tell while you're dotting which of these papers are coated and which aren't by the way that it like kind of sticks on the surface versus the ones that absorb in right away. Okay, I'm gonna do the yellow, and I just did all of the zigs on the left-hand side, and then I will do I'm not sure how to say it, I'm not really sure. The Amazon ones I will do on the right-hand side. Okay, so I think that's everybody. There are definitely, on some of the more coated papers, you can actually tell the difference between the two brands on the, like on the uncoated papers, like on my printer paper, you can't. These look identical, but like on the Tomoe River paper, for example, you can really see like it doesn't look as, the color is not as saturated in terms of this. It's much more noticeable on the pink than on the yellow. This paper, which is the most coated of all of the papers that I have in front of me, it's the most noticeable. This is the only one where I would say like, you know, this doesn't work super, super well. It just looks like very, very sheer. Let me zoom you in. But on the other papers, you can't really tell the difference on the front side between the two dots. Color-wise, these two pens are identical. I don't have a teal that matches this Zig exactly. I do have some other teal options, but I don't think that any of these, like, Oh, I guess actually this one is kind of closer. That's fairly close actually. So even though this looks really teal, it's actually not. It's much more blue, which is interesting. But anyway, you can really, like, this is like a lesson in which of your papers is coated, because it just like sits. Like, I feel like you can see it, right? Can you, well, that one's not a good one. Yeah, like you can see the way it like sits on top of the paper, and it looks like you could just like wipe it right off, which you can't obviously, but that's what it looks like. Anyway, okay, so let's see what we're working with here. So again, since I have this one up, this is the Tomoe River paper. If I used this paper like super regularly and where I was dotting, the Zig's dot on the front of this way better than the off-brand ones do, at least for the darker color. In terms of what's going on the back, you can 100% you can see this through. It's not like, the pink looks like it has some sections of bleeding for both. The yellow has some sections of bleeding just on the Amazon brand, and you can 100% see that these are totally ghosted through. These markers ghost through everything. Okay, so I'm just gonna throw that out there right now. I really like these as a functionality, but then I just like white them out on the other side of the insert. That's what I've been doing. So I don't know. I like these, and I'm having a lot of fun with them, but it's a challenge. Okay, so here's the Leuchtturm paper, which is from a Leuchtturm journal. Again, this one, only the Amazon pink is the only one that actually had any like bleed through, but again, they're all completely ghosted through. You can totally see them. Even on camera, I can see that you can see the pink one. You probably can't see the yellow on camera, but it's totally ghosted through. Okay. Rhodia dot grid. I've used these on these papers before, and I know there's no bleed through on either of these. The Rhodia dot grid paper is some of my favorite paper ever. It's so nice to write on. It's like not as thin as the Tomoe River or even as the Leuchtturm paper. It's got a nice coating on it, but it's also super bright white versus like the Leuchtturm paper, which is not bright white. It's like, that is like a parchment colored paper. Anywho, yeah, so this is the Rhodia dot grid on the top side there. Again, you can see kind of all of them. The Oahu ones, I don't know if I'm saying that right. The Amazon ones, the off-brand ones, however you want to call it, those all do ghost a little bit more than the Zig ones, but the Zig ones ghost so much that it's just like shades of seeing it through. So if you are a person that's really bothered by ghosting, I'm not sure these are the markers for you. Like I said, I just like wipe them out on the other side of the planner. Anyway, and I don't know that I would want to use them right now I'm using inserts for my functional planner, which is where I've been using these. I'm not sure I'd want to use these in like a spiral bound planner that I was gonna keep, because the inserts I just kind of toss when I'm done with them, at least for functional stuff, because it's mostly like to-do lists and everything. But I don't know that I would want to do that with like a nicer spiral bound paper. Anyway, here's the plum paper, which is like a super smooth, it's like a medium thickness paper. It's not as thick as the Erin Condren paper, and it's like really smooth. You could see that it definitely has a coating, and it actually, yeah, the coating does protect it somewhat, but you still do get the ghosting. Honestly, when you write on these like pen style, even you could sort of see it through just on the off-brand ones, not on the Zig one. That's not really ghosting through, but the dots you can see all ghosted through, and the pink of the off-brand one actually did bleed through a little bit there as well. So I know you can see that on the camera because I'm looking at the camera. All right, here is, well, let's go in, actually, let's do the Erin Condren first. Okay, so here is the Erin Condren paper. So this is what that looks like. Honestly, this bled through both of these for all of them. I would have expected this to bleed more on the plum paper than the Erin Condren, but the bleeding is actually way worse on the Erin Condren paper. And actually, I think the larger dots on all 4 of these bled through, on the smaller ones just on the off-brand. But yeah, so anyway, and then in terms of my printer paper, you know, this like is essentially, you could just use these as double checklists. It's so comically bled through on all of these stats. So if you're using like printing your own inserts, you are gonna see this on the other side. And then on the Accent Opaque 32, I can tell you that it's better than the Hammermill. This is nicer paper, but it's still like, you can really see this through. So this is the, where I did the 3 dots because, yeah, I did the 3 dots because I was trying to make a smaller one and it came out bigger the first time. This is the Amazon brand, and it's like I said, you can really see it. Just maybe the smaller yellow dot is the only one that's like not completely bled through. But it's honestly, it's so much ghosting that again, you can really just see it through. And then here is my Accent Opaque 40-pound paper right here. And again, you can really see this through. So I was hoping that this was gonna be thick enough that you wouldn't be able to see it because it is really, really thick weight paper. Like here I have written on this with a Paper Mate Flare, and like it doesn't really ghost at all. And honestly, like let me grab a Sharpie really quick. This is a Sharpie fine liner. Oh, this is a dead Sharpie fine liner, so that's not gonna work. Okay. This is a Sharpie, it's brown. I don't know where my black Sharpies are right now. This is a Tombow Funesque pen. This also bleeds through like everything. And then here is a Tombow brush pen. So let's just take a look here. Yeah, so all of those, it's like a little bit of ghosting. This is like the worst. Even like the Sharpie didn't really show up a little bit. The Sharpie's not bleeding through this paper, and the dot markers like do. These are by far the juiciest pens that I have ever seen in my entire life. I'm actually gonna grab a piece of cardstock really quick. Okay, so I'm actually out of white cardstock, so I should put that on the shopping list. But yeah, let me just, I mean, not obviously, like I'm not sure why you would be doing this, but just curious there. No, okay, finally on orange cardstock, it doesn't go through, but like, yeah. So in terms of the quality between the two pens, the Zig ones are definitely a little bit nicer. I do not think that they are twice as nice as the off-brand ones, and they are about twice the price per pen. So that is a question you have to ask yourself. This, you can kind of just buy one set and be done of 15. Again, like I said, this is usually on sale too from Amazon. They have a lot of colors. The metallics are really, really pretty on this too. And the dotting works like just as well as on the Zigs. You know, I have a little bit of a hard time getting like a lot of differentiation, but I can kind of get 2 different sizes on both. The Zigs, again, are maybe like a hair easier to get the differentiation. But yeah, basically, I just think that quality-wise, they are fairly similar. Obviously, the Zigs bleed slightly less, but because they ghost on absolutely everything, I'm not even sure that it matters. So if you are looking for a value brand dot marker and you don't care about the ghosting that they cause and the bleeding that they cause, I would certainly recommend getting the Amazon brand one over the Zig dot ones and save yourself a little bit of money. Let me just color squash these out for you. I'll do it on the Verdia dot grid paper because that is my usual go-to, and I will put the Zig next to it if I have one of the 4 Zigs that matches it. So we got the pink and the yellow already. Then there is this other yellow. Okay, so actually I don't have anything that matches that green, but those blues are identical, so of the other ones they are. There's also 4 metallics included in this. The Zigs do come in metallics as well, but there is a silver, a purple, a pink, and a blue metallic, and I actually think I love the way the metallics look on these. They're really nice. And they don't actually, I don't think the metallics ghost anymore or bleed any more than the other ones. The silver one, I guess where I pressed down really hard is bleeding a little, but the rest of and the pink was, but the rest of these are just pretty much ghosting. So that is what those actually look like. And that is my opinion on dot markers. Is they're really cool. I would love to see some dot markers that don't just you know, completely go through any paper. So I will keep an eye out, or if you know of any other brands of dot markers that do that, then yeah, let me know. Cause like the mild, like I use mild liners on everything, and the mild liners don't really like show through any of these papers. So I'm not really sure why these are so much more juicy. I do really like playing with them. I really like using them for checklists. I think they're really fun, but I just struggle with how much that they goes through. That being said, after doing this comprehensive test, I will not be buying any more Zig dot markers. I'm going to stick to the ones that I have. I don't think it's worth it unless I find some magic paper that the Zig ones don't show through, that these show through. But I do think that they're just so close that that's probably not gonna happen. And this gives you like a pretty wide selection of colors. So unless there was like a really specific color that I was looking for, or again, I find some magic paper, I think I'm happy with my current collection of dot markers. But anyway, okay, so just cutting this back in because after I finished filming this video, I realized that there were 2 pens hiding in the box set, which I probably could have counted to see that that's not 15. Anyway, there is also a gold metallic, which I just did right there. It's really nice like the other metallics, but it's not my favorite gold ever. I will just say it's a little bit on the green side. And then there's also a super, super light peachy pink, which is a really pretty color. And it is just like a really, really light peachy color, even though it's got like a pale pink one. So anyway, that is that. Again, same amount of ghosting and shadowing on all of them. So I don't think that you lost anything with that, but I did just want to show those other 2 colors. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you use these dot markers, and let me know how you feel about their ghosting in the comments down below. And if you did like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I'd love it if you'd subscribe and check me out on Instagram at mycraftyplans to keep up with everything going on in my planners. Bye.